So joining me in the studio today is Mr. Joseph Dankwa, who's the General Secretary at GAND, the Ghana Academic of Nutrition and Dietetics. And today we are going to be talking about the importance of breastfeeding and why it still matters, and also how it benefits the babies and the mothers. And if you didn't know, the first week of August is actually World Breastfeeding Week. So that's why it's important for us to have this conversation. Welcome, Mr. Joseph. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Thank you.
It's nice to have you here. So usually when we talk about diets, we always talk about the diets to our own perspective, but now it's from mother to baby, breastfeeding. First of all, why is breastfeeding important?
Breastfeeding, it's very important because it's the first food you introduce to a child. And breast milk in itself, I call it the first vaccine for the baby because it protects the baby against infections, which could otherwise lead to problems like stunted growth in children.
Right. So why is it important that there's actually a week for breastfeeding, like World Breastfeeding Week? Why is it important for us to have this celebration?
I'll take this from the point of the baby's food security, which has to do with how the baby is able to access food readily when the baby needs it. When we live in a country where policies does not support the mother in a way the baby has access to the breast milk, it becomes a big problem. So we dedicate this week, being the first week of August, to promoting breastfeeding, to encourage governments and policymakers to enact policies that will support the mother to be able to make the breast milk available to the baby.
Right. Now, let's talk about how breastfeeding actually affects babies. And now, how does it prevent, stunting and waste breastfeeding?
So, in promoting breastfeeding, we talk about the exclusive breastfeeding, where we promote the mother breastfeeding the baby exclusively for the first 6 months. The first 6 months, it means that the breast milk is all the child needs to satisfy hunger and quench thirst.
Right.
So when the baby is not getting access to the breast milk, meaning that nutritionally the baby is not getting the nutrients they require to grow and thrive, that can throw the baby into a state of malnutrition. And so far as stunting is concerned, stunting is the what we say as low height for age. It means the baby is not going to grow as tall as
it's supposed to be
when you compare to the baby's peers. Right. And this is usually also caused by infection. So if we do not promote breastfeeding holistically as it's supposed to be, babies will be malnourished, babies will suffer from infection that may lead to stunting because even with the little nutrition they get, they are going to channel it towards fighting infection other than investing it in their growth.
Right. So when you talk about breastfeeding exclusively, that also means like while breastfeeding during this 6 months, the breast milk is the water, it's the food, it's the everything.
It's everything.
Right.
Everything the baby needs to nourish and thrive, it's in the breast milk.
Right. So are there any evidences that actually support that breastfeeding is a key factor to a child's survival?
Yes, a lot of researchers have proved this fact, especially in the cognitive ability of babies later in school. Babies who are exclusively breastfed are known to do well academically as compared to babies who are not exclusively breastfed. And the research says it all.
Wow, wow. So now what is the economic benefit for a family?
So if you consider exclusive breastfeeding, where you are supposed to feed the baby only breast milk for 6 months, you are able to save money. The money you would otherwise spend on buying baby formula, you can save it for later time when you can do something with it. You understand? And on a holistic point of view, so far as national economy is concerned, if a baby is not exclusively breastfed and there is a problem of infection and malnutrition, in Ghana, most part of our GDP, government spends over $3 million US in tackling malnutrition among babies under 5. So
Wow, in Ghana here.
We promote, yes, if we promote exclusive breastfeeding, you know, the government is going to save on this much money.
Right. So how do we now promote exclusive breastfeeding to a society that, you know, it's not so used to exclusive breastfeeding? I'm going to use myself as an example, right? So when I was doing exclusive, like my child, that's the only child I have. So that's my first and that's my last for now. So for now. So I'm just saying, that was my first time hearing about exclusive breastfeeding. And I was like, okay, why not? The doctors know what they're talking about. So when I went home, my parents didn't understand, especially my dad. He's like, what, is the baby Samson? Why is he not going to drink some water? You understand? So in a situation whereby a lot of people are very ignorant to stuff like that, how do we now encourage them? How do we now teach them? How do we make it accessible to everyone to understand that it's important to do this?
I mean, as important as it may seem, it's the reason why I'm here representing GANT on this program, so we can educate the public on some of these issues. And when mothers go for antenatal, prenatal clinics, they are also educated on breastfeeding, and it's important to the mother and then the baby as well. So we really need to enforce the education front, so that a lot of people will be aware that, you know, breast milk is all the child needs to nourish and thrive. It has all the water, it has all the food the baby needs, especially for the first 6 months. After the first 6 months, breast milk is still important. Just that the baby's growth at that level, he or she needs more nutrients, which the breast milk alone cannot sustain. That is when you introduce complementary feeding to complement the breast milk.
Right. Okay. Now let's talk about the mother. See, when I was doing the whole breastfeeding for 6 months, I mean, people, you know, were nice. Okay, you have a new baby. They brought formula to me. So I was drinking the formula. So when they bring the formula, I just drink it because the baby is not going to drink it. Now, what are some of the things that a mother is supposed to be, you know, eating and drinking to actually fuel herself, you know, while performing this whole 6 months of being the food and being the water and being everything else?
Beyond 6 months, we recommend breastfeeding for 2 years. And within this period, a lactating mother, compared to a woman of the same age and same characteristics, who is not breastfeeding or who is not lactating, the nutritional requirements of that mother who is lactating, it's way higher than the other woman who is not lactating. So at that time, the mother really needs to nourish herself very well, because it is out of that nourishment that the body also, you know, produces quality breast milk. So nutritional quality for the mother for the first 2 years after childbirth, it's very important, as much as it's important for the baby.
Right. So what about people that are vegetarians or vegan? What do they do at that point?
I mean, vegan or veganism, it's also like a dietary pattern followed by people, and I believe being vegan doesn't really deprive you of important nutrients you need. So a vegan can also, you know, breastfeed, provided they are ensuring that they are getting their plant-based nutrient requirements from what they are eating.
Right. All right. So what would you advise mothers to do more when they are breastfeeding, to take care of themselves, especially to have the strength to actually give breast milk?
All right, so I would encourage mothers to eat well, to pay particular attention to the nutrients in their food, because they need to understand that what they are eating is what the formulation of the breast milk is going to come from. And I would also add that during that period, personal hygiene is also very, very important. You know, you need to clean the breast very well. Ensure that it's clean before the baby, puts their lips on it, because if you do not do that, the babies usually have very low immune system because their immune system are not very developed, and that could lead to infection.
Right.
And when infection sets in, like I've already stated, the little nutrients the baby gets is channeled into fighting the infection, because that becomes a priority at a time instead of investing in the baby's growth.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Joseph B. Dankwa. It was really nice talking to you and having this conversation with you. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been speaking to Joseph B. Dankwa, who's the General Secretary of GAND, and he's also a registered dietitian. How can people reach out to you?
Well, if you go to the GAND website, you can call the Secretariat number on there, and you would have access to me. You can also send us an email via secretariat@gandonline.org.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. So we've been having a conversation on breastfeeding and why it's important for mother and child to, have this process, and also its nutritional benefit to the child.